Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Last Days of Europe with me, Alpha Omega, and Greater Germanic Reich. So in the last episode we got our new event focus tree, the new focus tree via an event, but the focus tree itself is going to bring us events, so event focus tree. There you go. It was not a Freudian slip. Today we're gonna start with The Sword Has Fallen. Out of nowhere, our administration has been completely blindsided by a slave uprising not seen in our Reich's history. Led by left-wing students and revolutionaries, the Reichsbanner has torn a bloody gash down Eastern Europe, splitting the Reich in two. On our side, the gang and Speer enter into their final split on policy, the gang pulling one way while the Führer opposed the other. Helmut Schmidt, leading the charge to agree to the slave demands, clashes directly with Albert Speer's own call to accept only the bare minimum, nothing more, and force them back into the fold. The Reichstag cracks in confusion and chaos, and the Reich lies helpless to respond. In the east, Ferdinand Schörner has committed his final betrayal, splitting from the Reich with the promise to march west, crush the slaves, and complete his return as a hero to Germany. If the revolt is not dealt with before his invasion begins, our plans are surely doomed. This very well could be the moment that decides Speer's Reich. Whether he maintains control or not, this is an event that will ring through all of European history forevermore. It is crucial that we do not fail. The sword of Damocles has fallen on our shoulders. Okay, and this one has been bypassed. So now we can either start with restoring the trust or salvaging the economy. I think that salvaging the economy is more important because that's gonna start fixing our economy. The global oil crisis has crippled our economy, and that's putting it lightly. We cannot just continue without some sort of plan of action. We need to decide, and quickly, what our next course of action will be. We need to be quick and decisive if we are going to salvage what remains of our economy. So the interest rate is going to decrease by 2.5%, which means we are going to factually lose 3% of the debt every year, which is kind of cool when you think about it. Okay, we're starting to get some things. Oh, okay. Decisions available. The slave revolt. Launch Fall Otto. The military is prepared to strike against Schörner. It's time for yet another adventure in the east. Okay, oh my god. Wow, his army is massive. Okay, hopefully it's not as good as ours. So for that one we need preparedness at 100 and social agitation below 30. Send in the Orpo. So regime stability will decrease by 5%, conservatives benefit, social agitation will decrease. Attempt to negotiate with the students. Okay, I think this one is better. Reformist cause benefits, regime stability will decrease by 5, social agitation will decrease. Fortify St. Petersburg. Okay, that's something that I actually want to do. Preparedness will significantly increase. Send the Reichsnachrichtendienst. Preparedness will increase. Seize Baltic Islands. I guess it's these. Ahrensburg. Preparedness will increase. Yeah, Ahrensburg. Work with Rema. Otto Ernst Remmer has approached the OKW with an interesting proposition. His links to Schörner and connections inside the mutineers have come in handy during these times. He says that Schörner's army is overextended across the western border, and that a diversionary attack from the south will distract him, allowing us to pounce on the opportunity to seize a larger foothold on Moscovian. Of course, this will render several of our invasion plans useless, but Remmer is urging us to act on this as soon as possible. Effects when removed. Oberkommando St. Petersburg becomes owner and control of Ingermanland Hongar Pascal. Hongar Pascal. Ah, okay, so we would gain this territory. It's actually not a bad thing. Seizing the Baltic Islands is also fine. Convoy lanes, preparedness. The struggle ahead will require a considerable amount of equipment, and transporting them ahead of our time will allow us to concentrate on more important matters and grant emergency funding. Preparedness will increase. Schörner's intervention launches. As we speak, Schörner is preparing to crush the slave rebellion in the east with military force. Unless we intervene, the resulting bloodbath will inspire countless Moors. Is involved with military Bezirk Russland. Okay, so we basically need to protect these guys who punished and killed and revolted against us, and we're trying to save them. Well, fine. Okay, we're not going to send in the Orpo. We're going to attempt to negotiate with the students. We are going to seize the Baltic Islands. And we are going to send the convoys. And grant the emergency funding. Okay. Orpo is no longer what we want to do. This one we do. Yeah, and send in the R&D as well. Work with Remmer, I kind of think that's a good idea, but we'll have to see. No, these are not things that I want to see. Okay. So let's see. And our army is also in a pretty rough position. We have, what, 48 divisions. Much smaller than the military Bezirk Russland, but I expect them to have awful units. I mean, they might have good infantry, but their equipment should be abysmal. I don't think that they have... I mean, they have no factories or anything, so whatever casualties we cause them is going to be final for them. Okay, so if I'm mistaken, yep, debt interest is nearly -3%. And now strict oil rationing. Some of the more liberal-leaning members of our country have proposed that the government should subsidize purchasing oil off the global markets to keep meeting our demands. These bureaucrats are totally insane. The cost of oil on the market is astronomical and outrageous. Our country would likely bankrupt itself if we attempted to subsidize our current levels of consumption. We simply don't have the capital to do this. We must instead resort to rationing. It will hurt our economy in the short term, but it is a better solution than destroying our economic future with such a heavy burden on our shoulders. How is this gonna hurt the economy? This one increases inflation, and this one decreases inflation. Yeah, stricter rationing, come on. This is not the time to make jokes. Yeah, euro deficit is down, so that's good. We just need to lower the inflation a bit, and we're actually going to stabilize pretty neatly. Which reminds me, this is the moment where we need to distribute the frigates. So all of these are new. All of these are new. All of these are new. All of these are. You got 6. You got 5. So let's give you guys 3. That means you got 8. And guys have 8. 6. You have 11, so we're getting 1 more. I hate odd numbers. You guys are gonna drill, and we got a new Kreutzer. And advanced attack submarine will go over there. Cool. So the navy grows ever bigger. It's kind of interesting that Ukraine actually managed to hold, even if only with a bit of its territory. Oh, the Bund is gone. When did that happen? Huh. Okay, well. Growth expected to drop. We should protect this area, quite honestly. And we should also protect this area. So what are we getting here? Attempt negotiations with students. Okay, that did not really help with this social agitation. How is that possible? The gang is intervening. Social agitation will decrease, political power drops, regime stability will decrease. Conservative cause in the Reich benefits from this. That's weird, but okay. I think it's all a bit on its head. Also, I don't know what happened with Speer. Did he manage to kill Schmidt or what the hell? Grant emergency funding. Partners will increase. Yeah, I think we can do that. That's not an issue. The Via Funny Massacre. A new bloody chapter has been written in the grim tale that many in Italy have begun to call the Years of Lead. After an ambush in Fani Street in Rome, Aldo Moro, a famous politician and one of the key architects of Italy's transition to democracy, was kidnapped by unknown armed men. His 5 bodyguards killed him in the firefight. No, his bodyguards killed in the firefight. The news of the kidnapping was enough to throw the entirety of Italian politics into utter panic. Already emergency talks are feverishly held between political parties, law enforcement, and even the royal court about how to respond to this attack. What's worse, the fact that a terrorist group was able to enact such a spectacular action in broad daylight has worsened the paranoia already rampant across much of Italian society. A wasteland of mystery. Anton Schwarz hated the sand ever since he was a child, so his assignment to Turkestan felt like divine retribution. Turkestan. Where are we with Turkestan? We have so many sympathizers. Suspicion is rampant, but hopefully it's not gonna increase that much. 48 days. The coarse sand that would dust his body from head to toe hid his nation's true interest within the region. The rich deposits of gas that lay beneath the wastes. His task seemed easy enough: to monitor the situation and provide aid to those sympathetic to Germania's ideals. Though through sheer determination, he could get the job done and escape the infernal desert. However, his foes were not making it easy. The Americans were playing the same game he was, and their stream of resources was easily tracked and disrupted upon a whim. The conference would be a simple battle where greater ideals would win, but recent happenings have complicated this plot. Important individuals within communities have disappeared or refused to further the cooperation. There could be only one culprit. The Japanese had decades to cultivate a network of connections through the steppes, making partnerships that he could never possibly have made and cloaking them in an impenetrable veil of secrecy. None of the disappearances could be a coincidence. The timing of it all was far too suspicious. He would have to tackle the colossal shadow of the sphere, even if he was nearly blind within its darkness. Keep monitoring the pattern. I wonder if that's telling us that they have reached a level of suspicion that's insane. Never a traitor. Every step that Remmer took made him more certain in his conviction. He strode to the front, stopping in front of a group of men, each one anxious and perhaps a tad bit annoyed that the Remmer had called them here. Remmer knew that the men assembled before him Remmer knew that the men assembled before him would listen. They were the strongest men he knew, and the most devoted to the cause. These were his friends, his compatriots. These army men, cold as steel and heartless as dogs, were the closest family Remmer had ever known, and they would never betray the Reich. They had all trudged along behind Schörner when Speer had sent him to Moscow, though through snow, through sleet and hail, and through the damnedest humiliation that Speer could visit on them. Even now, Remmer pictured Speer's face and only thought on the hate that he held for the decrepit little man who would lead the Reich to an early grave, with his liberal ideas and spineless pandering. Now, Ferdinand Schörner, the man whom Remmer had looked up to most, had risen in revolt against the German Reich. Disgusting. Remmer began to speak. What are we but the most devoted of National Socialists? Remmer began gruffly. And Remmer began gruffly. And what are the National Socialists without our home nation? He continued, the script becoming less clear in his mind as he spoke from the heart. Friends, I know we all hold Field Marshal Schörner in the highest place in our hearts. We have known the man for years, and he has never been short of an exemplary man. But now, he has risen against the German Reich. He has spat upon the Führership, regardless of whose shoulders it rests upon. Remmer paused, glancing around at a shocked and blank-faced audience. You know I speak the truth. When we greet one another, we hail the Reich and Führer, not traitors and splitzers. And when we march to battle, we again do it for the Reich and Führer. Remmer scoffed. Schörner has gone too far, and reached too high. For National Socialism, for the German Reich, I cannot fight beside him any longer. For loyalty and for honor, will you join me or will you die fighting against your brothers? Those 4 men that the event has given us are going to be amazing. They are totally going to change the situation in the world. Social agitation. Social agitation is now at 83.99%. It's not working. Why are we spending so much on this when it's not working? I have a feeling that it might be way worse if we didn't do that, but token political promises. Strict oil rationing. And we finished the advanced motorized equipment. Cool. It's the end of 1971. I don't think we're using any of that, to be quite honest. Let's look at the navies. Yeah, let's go with the armor-piercing white shell. Enemy ships belong at the bottom of the sea. We must improve our artillery systems to keep them where they belong. White attack and white piercing increased by 5%. Send the R&D. Send the Orpo. And this is increasing the preparedness. Fall auto in 100%. Grant emergency funding. Sure. I'm really wondering how we're supposed to attack Military Berserk if we cannot pass the area of army Verband. We need to get this territory and use it as a staging ground. That's the only way I can imagine this working. Oh, and we need to start putting in new equipment. Where is here it is. Improved motorized, now advanced motorized, and we need 425. Which I think we can put in 5 factories. 1, 2, 3, 4. That. ought to work. National focus completed. Strict oil rationing. So now, do we want to do the next one? This one will increase GDP growth by 1%. But I have a feeling that this is increasing by weekly amount. So actually going with restoring trust and making the agitation drop. This would make sense if it's increasing by an actual percentage. Then taking it down makes sense. Let's go restoring trust next. We're gonna see how that's gonna help. Our situation is beginning to look grim. Civil agitation through our country is starting to boil over. Continuous dissatisfaction and dissent has eroded trust with our administration to a dangerous new low. If this trend continues, we will more than likely have a disaster on our hands. We need to restore trust in our government at once. Make promises, give the people benefits. Whatever we must do, we just need to restore a little faith in our administration. Okay, so let's do that. Right political enemies. That's part of the R&D. Bug, bribe, and manipulate the media. And tell me how we're doing. Is that right? 73.5. Okay, so this is looking good. We're managing to keep it fairly high. Let's hope that's how it's gonna stay. Now with the production here, we're producing nearly 5 per day. It's gonna increase dramatically. Looks are done. These ones we still need nearly. Well, we need over 2,000 actually. And we need 850 Yak Panzers and 411 things. You know what I can do? I can just throw in more factories. That's what I can do. Let's see if this is enough. Yeah, it seems like it's enough. I even have 3 extra factories. So let's put 2 on you. And anything else that we need to upgrade? Yeah, let's put this on you. Because I would like to have as much of the modern equipment as possible. Comparted guidance radar has been finished. That's great. So let's... I mean, researching the Navy now seems like a bad idea. Let's just go with the automatic support weapons free. While maintaining and improving reliability of machine guns, we can also experiment with higher firing rates to ensure lethality of the constant stream of bullets. Advanced grenade launcher, soft attack, max speed reliability, hard attack. This is gonna give us a new equipment or something? All infantry gets defense, breakthrough, and hard attack. Oh, this might actually be an infantry support weapon. Yeah, advanced automatic cannon. So this is a new thing for our tanks to work with. Attempt negotiations with students. 70. Okay, so now it's starting to go down a bit. Send in the Orpo. The gang is intervening. Yeah, they're helping. But they're also taking away our political power, unfortunately. And by unfortunately, I mean that it's really unfortunate. Yeah, we need to work with Remmer. We need 80 preparedness. How's the economy looking? Okay, deficit is 4.5%, but real GDP growth is going up. Okay, it's no longer going up. But hey, this is... Now we need to calculate. We're losing 2%, and debt interest is dropping by 2.87. So actually we're doing good. Actually the economy is now stable. It's not going to grow. And it's not going to get much worse. Okay, synthetic oil investment and brand emergency funding. we need to prepare for the attack as fast as possible. Because once we get the preparedness to 80, we're gonna take this territory and I'm gonna start shipping in the mechanized divisions and the special forces. And you guys can actually find them from south, couldn't you? So we can actually send some units to Ukraine as well. We'll have basically two waves of attack. Fortified St. Petersburg and this territory from where our units are gonna attack, and the south from where they are going to attack as well. So it's gonna be fun. And then it's gonna be super fun. And you guys are still not doing anything. You're just trying to break each other. Casualties mounting on both sides with no end in sight. So what is it? Russian-Siberian War. Let's see the casualties. 1.14 million on one side, 814. Okay, 2 million people already died in this war. And the Commonwealth is definitely becoming stronger, it seems. They lost less, they get more in terms of an army, they get more factories, more units. Yeah, they're definitely gonna win this. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna end the episode here. We are just going to attempt to negotiate with students again. Yeah, social agitation 81 point. So I'm pretty sure that it's increasing by percentage. So that way it makes sense to restore trust. That's gonna take the percentage down by 10. And then clear the trenches, extend the olive branch, and then the Reichs Polizeigezeit. So we're gonna go to the Polizeigezeit. And then we can go with local independence and then continue through the economy. I guess that's the way to go. Anyway, wow, what an episode, what an episode. So I'll see you in the next one where we continue the story of this mess. This is gonna be insane.